My name is Owen, and I'm 28 years old. I thought my grandmother was the kindest person in the world until I discovered what my family had done to both of us. It started with a phone call that changed everything. Owen, sweetheart, how are you enjoying the house? My grandmother asked, her voice warm and excited. What house, Grandma? I asked, confused. The house I bought for you, dear. The 3-bedroom colonial on Maple Street. I transferred the deed 3 months ago, she said. My heart stopped. Grandma, I never received any house. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? Your father helped me with all the paperwork. He said you were so busy with work that he'd handle everything and surprise you, she explained, her voice growing concerned. Grandma, I need you to tell me everything. What exactly happened? I asked, my hands shaking. She sighed. Well, I wanted to help you get started in life. You've always been so responsible. I found that beautiful house and paid $400,000 for it. Your father said he'd make sure you got the deed and keys. And you haven't heard from me about it at all? I asked. No, but your father said you were overwhelmed with gratitude and needed time to process it. He said you'd call me when you were ready, she said sadly. I felt sick. Grandma, I never got any house. Something's very wrong here. That weekend I drove to Maple Street. When I pulled up to the address Grandma had given me, I saw a colonial house with a silver SUV in the driveway, my sister Jessica's silver SUV. I knocked on the door. Jessica answered, her face going pale. Owen, what are you doing here? She stammered. This is interesting, Jessica. What are you doing here? I asked coldly. I live here. Mom and Dad helped me buy it, she said quickly. Really? Because Grandma just told me she bought this house for me 3 months ago, $400,000. So explain to me how you're living in my house, I said. Jessica's face turned red. I don't know what you're talking about. This is my house. Mom and Dad helped with the down payment. The down payment? Grandma said she paid cash, $400,000. Let me see your paperwork, Jessica, I demanded. You need to leave, Owen. You're harassing me, she said, trying to close the door. I put my foot in the doorway. I'm not going anywhere until I get answers. Did Mom and Dad tell you about Grandma's gift to me? I don't have to answer your questions, she snapped. Yes, you do, because I'm about to call Grandma right now and have her come over here. Want to explain to her why you're living in the house she bought for her grandson? I pulled out my phone. Wait, Jessica said, panicking. Okay, fine. Mom and Dad said Grandma wanted to help the family. They said it made more sense for me to have the house because I'm married and planning to have kids. You're single. You don't need 3 bedrooms. So they just decided to steal my house and give it to you? I asked, my voice rising. It's not stealing. They're our parents. They made a decision for the family, Jessica argued. Did you sign anything? Transfer paperwork? A deed? I pressed. Mom handled all of that. She said it was legal, Jessica said defensively. I laughed bitterly. Mom handled it. Of course she did. I'm calling Grandma right now and then I'm calling a lawyer. Enjoy the house while you can, Jessica, because you're not keeping it. The next morning, I met my grandmother at her house. She looked devastated. Owen, I don't understand. Your father has always been so trustworthy, she said, crying. Grandma, I need you to show me every document you have about the house, I said gently. Orchestrated narrative structure balancing dialogue and word count requirements. I need to continue with Chapter 2, focusing on gathering evidence, hiring a lawyer, and planning the response. Must maintain 75% dialogue and hit 625 words for this chapter. She pulled out a folder. Inside were the purchase documents, a deed with my name on it, and a notarized transfer letter. This deed has my name, Owen Mitchell, right here. How did Jessica end up with the house? I asked, examining the papers. I don't know. I gave everything to your father. He said he'd file it with the county recorder's office, Grandma explained. I took photos of every document. Grandma, I'm hiring a lawyer. This is fraud. What they did is illegal. But they're family, she protested weakly. They stole $400,000 from you and from me. That's not family, Grandma. That's criminal, I said firmly. I called my friend Marcus, who recommended a real estate attorney named Catherine Hayes. That afternoon, I sat in her office with all the documentation. This is clear-cut fraud, Catherine said, reviewing the papers. The deed names you as the owner, but somehow your sister is living there. Did your parents forge new documents? That's what I need you to find out, I said. I'll request all filed documents from the county recorder. We'll see what was actually submitted. If your parents created false paperwork, that's forgery and theft by deception, she explained. What are we talking about in terms of consequences? I asked. For fraud of this magnitude? We're talking felony charges, 3 to 10 years in prison potentially. Plus, they'd have to return the property and possibly pay damages, Catherine said seriously. Good. They deserve it, I said coldly. 3 days later, Catherine called me. Owen, you need to come to my office. I found something. When I arrived, she showed me the documents. The deed your grandmother signed with your name was never filed. Instead, someone filed a completely different deed naming Jessica as the buyer. The signature on that deed is forged to look like your grandmother's signature. Are you sure it's forged? I asked. I had a forensic document examiner look at it. The signature uses different pen pressure and stroke patterns than your grandmother's real signature. It's definitely forged, Catherine confirmed. So my parents committed forgery? I asked. It appears so. There's more. The deed lists a purchase price of $75,000, not $400,000. Your parents pocketed $325,000, she revealed. I felt rage boiling inside me. What do we do now? We go to the police. This is criminal fraud, forgery, and theft. I'm also filing a civil lawsuit to recover the property immediately. With this evidence, we'll get an emergency court order, Catherine said. Let's do it, all of it, I agreed. That evening, I called my grandmother again. Grandma, the lawyer found proof. Mom and Dad forged documents and stole $325,000 from you. She gasped. Are you absolutely certain? Yes. Catherine has a forensic analysis proving the signature is fake. They only put $75,000 on the official deed and kept the rest, I explained. My own son did this to me? She whispered. Yes, and we're going to make sure he pays for it. Are you willing to press charges? I asked. If you're certain they did this, then yes. I won't let them destroy our family and get away with it, she said, her voice hardening. Good. We meet with the detective tomorrow. Catherine is arranging everything, I told her. 2 days later, Detective Sarah Rodriguez sat across from me, my grandmother, and Catherine in an interview room. Mrs. Mitchell, you're stating that you gave your son $400,000 to purchase a house for your grandson, Owen, but he forged documents to transfer it to your granddaughter, Jessica, instead? Detective Rodriguez asked, taking notes. Yes, I have the real documents showing Owen as the intended owner. My son never filed them. He created fake paperwork, Grandma said, her voice shaking but determined. And you have forensic evidence of forgery? The detective asked Catherine. Yes. The document examiner's report clearly shows the signature is forged. I have copies for you, Catherine said, handing over a folder. Detective Rodriguez reviewed the documents. This is substantial evidence. I'll need to interview your son and daughter. Do you know where they are? My son lives at 42 Oak Avenue. Jessica is at the Maple Street property, Grandma provided. We'll be executing a search warrant for relevant documents. Mrs. Mitchell, I want to be clear. Your son could face serious criminal charges. Are you prepared for that? The detective asked seriously. He stole from me and from my grandson. He needs to face the consequences, Grandma said firmly. The next day, I got a frantic call from my mother. Owen, what have you done? The police are at our house with a warrant, she screamed. I did what you should have done, Mom. I told the truth, I said calmly. You're destroying this family. Over a house, she yelled. No, you and Dad destroyed this family when you stole $400,000 from Grandma and gave my house to Jessica, I corrected. Jessica needed it more. She's starting a family. You're just selfish, Mom shouted. Selfish? You committed fraud and forgery. You're going to prison, Mom, I said coldly. Your father was just trying to help both you kids, she insisted. By stealing from me? That's not help. That's theft. Where's Dad? I demanded. He's talking to the police. Owen, please drop this. We can work it out as a family, she begged. No. You had 3 months to work it out. Instead, you lied to everyone. Now you face the consequences, I said. We're your parents. How can you do this to us? She cried. How could you do this to Grandma, to me? You made your choice, Mom. Now live with it, I said, and hung up. An hour later, Catherine called. Owen, your father was arrested. He's being charged with forgery, fraud, and theft by deception. Your mother is being charged as an accomplice. Jessica is being questioned now. What about the house? I asked. The judge signed an emergency order. Jessica has 48 hours to vacate. The property is being transferred back to you immediately, Catherine said triumphantly. That evening, Jessica called me, sobbing. Owen, please, I have nowhere to go. I'm pregnant, she begged. You should have thought about that before you moved into my stolen house. You have 48 hours, I said. I didn't know they forged documents. I thought it was legal, she claimed. You knew Grandma bought it for me. You knew it was wrong. You just didn't care, I said. Please, I'm your sister. Have some compassion, she pleaded. Compassion? Like the compassion you showed me when you took my house? No, Jessica, you made your bed. Now sleep in it. Actually, you won't be sleeping in my bed. Get out, I said, and ended the call. 6 months later, I stood in a courtroom as the judge delivered sentencing. Mr. Mitchell, you orchestrated a scheme to defraud your own mother of $325,000 and deprive your son of property rightfully his. You forged legal documents and filed false paperwork with the county recorder. This court sentences you to 7 years in state prison, the judge announced. My father's face crumbled. My mother, sentenced as an accomplice, received 4 years. Jessica, who had cooperated with prosecutors, received 2 years probation and was ordered to pay restitution for the time she occupied the property. After the hearing, I met Grandma outside the courthouse. "Are you okay?" she asked, hugging me. "I'm better than okay. Justice was served," I said. "I never imagined my own son would do something like this." "I still can't believe it," she said sadly. "I know, Grandma, but you did the right thing holding him accountable. That took courage," I reassured her. "You're a good man, Owen. Your parents raised you better than they behaved themselves," she said. "I learned from you, Grandma. You taught me integrity matters," I replied. A week later, I moved into my house. The 3-bedroom colonial on Maple Street was finally mine. Catherine had recovered legal fees from my parents' assets, and Grandma had been repaid the stolen money from the sale of my parents' house. As I unpacked boxes in my new living room, I thought about everything that had happened. My father had called from prison, asking me to forgive him and drop the charges. I refused. My mother wrote letters claiming she was just following her husband's lead. I didn't respond. Jessica sent text messages saying I'd destroyed the family. I blocked her number. Some people think family should forgive anything. They're wrong. What my parents did wasn't a mistake or a misunderstanding. It was calculated theft. They looked at $400,000 and decided their golden child Jessica deserved it more than I did. They forged legal documents. They lied to Grandma for months. They would have let me live my entire life never knowing about this gift if Grandma hadn't called me. That's not family. That's criminal behavior. I don't feel guilty about their prison sentences. I feel relieved. They can't hurt anyone else now. Grandma got her money back. I got my house. And 3 people who thought they were above the law learned they weren't. Standing in my living room, looking at the fireplace and the hardwood floors Grandma had loved, I felt proud. Proud that I'd stood up for what was right. Proud that I hadn't let them manipulate me into dropping charges. Proud that I'd given Grandma justice. This house isn't just a building. It's proof that sometimes the good guys win. It's proof that you don't have to accept being victimized by your own family. It's proof that the law works when you have the courage to use it. Have you ever discovered that your family stole something that belonged to you? Would you have had the strength to prosecute your own parents? Or would you have let them get away with it? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.